Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of BSing Sports here on the BSing Network. My name, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. My name is Bill. With me, as always, my bad, is Ryan. Ryan, how we doing today, buddy?
Good, man. Good. For those of you that don't know, the little records at the bottom, we'll explain those a little bit more in a second. But as you can see, 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, looking to change your luck today. This is an interesting grid. Actually, if I remember last week correctly, we also had a grid that did not have a single team on it.
Yeah, I think that's a thing they're doing on Saturdays now, which honestly I'm here for. It makes it a little bit tougher on us because we're pretty good about knowing which players went where.
And for those of you that aren't following along, we're talking about the Immaculate grid. That is a staple of this MLB segment for the shows Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Immaculate grid. It's fairly easy to explain, but this is what it looks like since Bill's leading off. We'll use his first. So the Immaculate grid is fairly self-explanatory. You have to pick a baseball player that fits the criteria of that grid. Bill is going to go first because he lost last week, so that's how we do it. He gets to go. He gets to pull a rip, and whether it's right, whether it's wrong, I move on to my grid, and I pick a player, and that is, we just keep going back and forth. And then at the end of the grid, the rarity score, whoever's the lowest rarity score, is the winner.
That is correct. So Ryan, we're just going to get it kicked off, get going. You guys can already see I typed in Wade Boggs. Let's see if I'm correct on the 3,000. I know I'm correct on the 3,000 career hits and 6 wins above replacement. Let's discuss that. We've discussed it on other shows before, but WAR is wins above replacement players at the same position. And they're saying in this category right here, 6 or more wins above replacement for a season. Again, I'm 100% sure Wade Boggs did it, and I know he's got more than 3,000 career hits. He is a 3% rarity. That is a good pull for Bill.
Yeah. So, 3% rarity is pretty good. This is an interesting grid. No teams involved. Generally, you'll have a couple of baseball teams on there sometimes. But to my grid, Hall of Fame 3,000 career hits. Oh, we will go with my boy. His grandson plays in. 2% rip for Mr. Carl Yastrzemski to fill out the Hall of Fame and 3,000 career hits spot.
That is a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I love Carl. The only thing he doesn't fill out is multiple teams because he only played for the Red Sox for all 23 years of his career.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's see. I am going to go any Gold Glover with 6 wins above replacement.
Oh, you're going 6 wins above replacement first.
I'm trying to, because we discussed it right before we got on the show, and we said that one's going to be the hard one to fill out. So I figure if I take the squares from you, you may not be able to catch up on it.
That's true.
Let's see. You know what? I'm going to go 300 career batting average, and I'm going to go 6 wins above replacement. I mean, he had 4,300 hits, right? So Pete Rose has got to be there.
Oh, sure. I mean, he's got to be. No doubt.
5%. Yeah, there you go.
You know what category he's not going to be in? The Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame. That is correct. Yeah, he will not be in the Hall of Fame.
So to my grid,
Gucci says, "Let's go, Bill, plus 500."
That's a good pull there. I'm going to get this obvious one out of the way. All-time batting average leader, obviously in the Hall of Fame, is Ty Cobb, 8%. That's not a great rip given how this grid is built out, but I just wanted to secure the square nonetheless.
That's good. I think I'm going to go Teddy up there in that corner, so that's fine. Teddy's probably going to be worse than 8%. All right. Any Gold Glove winner.
Well, I mean, you might as well lock Teddy up now because if you don't use him, I am.
That's a good point, but I'm also going to lock this guy up. We talked about it before the show. We think that this would be the square where he would be the least rare.
Because he does fill out every square.
Yes. So for what it's worth, Ichiro Suzuki fills out every single square on this grid. Now, moving forward, again, Ichiro for 2% on a pull. That is a great rarity pull for Bill.
There's another player that would fill out every single square on this grid.
Okay.
I'm going to use him in the same spot that you just used him.
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Arriba, Roberto Clemente for 0.9%.
Shit. Things just got interesting here, team. All right. Hall of Fame. 3,000 career hits, Honus Wagner.
That's a good rip.
2%, not good enough.
That's a good rip. Good rip. Same amount as Carl Yastrzemski. So played center field, 3,000 career hits. We got played center field, Gold Glove. We've got played center field, 300 career average. 6+ WAR season, 3,000 career hits. The captain, we'll go Mr. Derek Jeter. 6%, not a good pull.
Okay, that makes
Not
things interesting here. Yeah, your 6 and 8% are kind of dragging you, which is funny to say because we've had some where we guess a guy and it's like 56%. So saying that 6 and 8% are pulling you down on this grid is kind of big.
I mean, we had Giants Cy Young Award winners yesterday where there was only 2 answers. One was Mike McCormick in 1967, which neither one of us got. And I had the other pull, which was Lincecum. It was 92%.
Yep. What was the only one for the Reds, right? It was Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, Trevor Bauer.
All right, so let's see. Go here. All right, I think I'm going to go played center field, 3,000 career hits. Stan the man.
Musial.
2%.
That's a good pull. It's shaping up to be a close one here. Played center field, Gold Glove. The kid.
Oh, man. That's a good one. Right out of the gate.
12. I'm getting killed. I'm going to lose this grid.
Okay. Played center field. I am
going to lose this grid, ladies and gentlemen. This is not shaping up to be a good grid for me. Given the circumstances of this grid that there are no teams, a lot of these spots can be filled by a lot of different players. Rarity is going to come down to
shit! Should not have used him. 15% on Ted Williams.
15. Wow. Yeah, you're right. He was a lot less rare than Ty Cobb, which is interesting because Ty Cobb has the highest batting average of all time.
Man, I thought, okay, let me just get him off the board so Ryan can't use him. Mistake.
Hall of Fame Gold Glove. Ready for this rip? Greg Maddux. 11%. Oh, I'm getting killed. I am getting killed.
Well, that makes that 15% feel so much better, by the way. Let's see. Hall of Fame Gold Glovers. So many. You know what? I think I'm going to go with a Philly here. Michael Jack. For 4%.
That's a good rip, especially because he won a lot of Gold Gloves.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this one. I was not feeling good, last night at the bar when you beat me 6 for 8. But
center field, 1 game, 3,000 career hits. I'll go Al Kaline for 1%. Back in it, baby. I needed that.
Gold Glove center fielders.
That's why I took the kid.
Yeah, no, I know. Gold Glove center fielder does not have to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, another obvious one just popped to me.
I feel like Torrey Hunter won a Gold Glove at some point. I could be wrong, though. Can't really afford to be wrong.
Only one way to find out, huh?
Yeah, I can't really afford to be wrong. Excuse me. Drank that coffee too fast. I'm pretty confident Torrey Hunter won a Gold Glove. 4%.
Yep. The other obvious one, since it doesn't fill out your last category, to me was Andrew Jones.
Oh, that would have been a good fallback. I didn't even consider a Brave for a millisecond.
6+ WAR season, 300 average for his career. We're gonna go Mr. Pizza, Mike Piazza for 1%.
This can be a closer grid than I think you thought it was going to be. I got to get this.
I mean, I have a couple high ones there, but that 0.9%, man, is really going to bail me out.
What's hurting me is that 15% on Teddy. But anyway, Played center field, has a 300 career batting average. I'm going to go with the Mick himself.
Go Mantle.
Mantle. Going Mantle.
Yes, good. Because he didn't
Incorrect.
do it.
Apparently he did not hit 300 for his career. Shit.
Hit 298.
That is unfortunate.
He hit 290. I've kept that stat in my mind since I got it wrong for Yankees and 300 average probably last year.
Man, all right, well, I got a rarity of 137.
That's going to be tough to beat. So, I mean, this could be do or die. Like, I think I got to get this one. I will pick Joltin' Joe. Joe DiMaggio. Bang.
Ooh.
Pull up jumper.
That is a good grid. Wow.
So let's show the summary here for a little bit. So the average score was 6.9 squares, which is incredible because I felt like this was an easier grid. Only 27 people in MLB history have been in the Hall of Fame and had 3,000 career hits. Only 23 of them have played center field and had 3,000 career hits. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So
yeah,
I picked 1, 2, 3 of the most common squares, and you picked 1. Oh, Willie Mays. How did we skip over Mr. Mays, who I think would have also filled out the whole grid?
I'm looking at some of the names on the bottom right square. I didn't know Pete Rose played center field.
Yeah, Pete Rose played everywhere. Charlie Hustle.
Uh-huh. Good to know. Good to know.
So Gucci, you bet on the underdog and you were wrong again.
Yeah. Let me just fix this real quick.
Go.
2. Yep, there we go.
Bang.
It's all right. I'll get you next week.
Oh, there is always next week. You might get me later today. Who knows?
That's true. Now, moving on from that and the Immaculate Grid, thank you very much for our friends over at Baseball Reference for putting out the Immaculate Grid every day. We appreciate it. It gives us something to talk about. We love it. Thank you so much. We literally sit at the bar, not joking, literally sit at the bar and go back and forth in this grid all night long. This is not a joke. So thank you so much for putting out the Immaculate Grid. We really appreciate it. Now, moving on to our topics. We're going to do a standings update for the Major League Baseball right now. We're looking at it right here real quick. Let's get the NL East out of the way. Obviously, we're Phillies fans. Let's knock them out real quick.
What do you do?
Braves...
No, we're going to start at the top. I already got the thing pulled up.
Okay, well, your top is different than my top. My top is the NL.
Well, my top is the one that's on the screen. It's the only one that matters.
I could fix that super easy. My top is the one that matters. I can fix it so easy. Honestly, no offense or nothing. We can read mine. I couldn't read yours.
Why would we start with our favorite team?
All right, fine. There you go.
It doesn't make any sense.
Hold it down. You're the boss, I guess. Psych.
Yeah, I am 2-0, so.
Listen, just because Timmy calls you daddy doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
I think you just insinuated it.
Pass. All right. Anyway, surprise out of the gate. You and I talked about this a little bit before the show got started. Boston Red Sox opening up at 6-2, leading their division, tied with the Yankees and the Orioles, respectively. Yeah, again, plus 17 run differential. Their pitching has been solid. Their batting has been real solid. That's one of my biggest surprises is the Boston Red Sox.
I don't really have any surprises so far because we are roughly 5% of the way into the season, which is, for those of you that are mostly NFL fans listening to this, that is the equivalent of playing like 3/4 of the first game. And it's tough to make a judgment, at this point, because any team can, win 6 of 8 at any point throughout the season. Any team can lose 8 in a row, and we'll get into that here in a little bit too. But to me, there are no real surprises yet. I need more evidence before I call them a surprise, but some teams have started out on the right foot. Like the New York Yankees, for instance. I think they they came back and beat the Astros every single game of that series in Houston. I think Houston had the lead at every point going into the later innings, and I think the Yankees came back in every single game.
That is accurate. That is, in fact, accurate. Let's see. So again, yeah, Yankees obviously 6-2, Orioles 5-2, Toronto at 4-4, and the Rays rounding out the division at 3-5. Let's moving on to the next division. Another bit of a surprise.
The play with Candelario the other day, not Candelario. Candelario, the rookie for the Rays, the shortstop, where he had the line drive hit at him.
I did not.
Well, it was ruled a catch that he dropped it on the transfer, although it was extremely suspect, and there's a lot of debate going on around whether he actually caught the ball or not. Me personally, I see real time why the ump called it the way he did. It looked like a quick flip. Candelario's got some fast hands, but it was an interesting play. So if you haven't seen it, then
did it end up giving them the game there?
I don't remember what the result of the game was. I think they lost.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they lost 2 in a row. Or I'm sorry, yeah, they've lost 2 in a row here. But moving forward, we got the Tigers sitting at 6-1. That's a bit of a surprise to me. I did not expect the Tigers to come out of the gate swinging. Now, the Guardians, I expected to win the division, so that doesn't really surprise me at 6-2. However, they have a plus 30 run differential.
Which 30 is good that their offense is falling out, because that leads into our next topic that Shane Bieber is done for the next 18 months. Guardians ace, former AL Cy Young Award winner, done for the next 18 months, getting that Tommy John surgery. We'll talk about that more here in a second.
We sure will. And then you got the Royals, Minnesota Twins, and Chicago White Sox rounding out the division. White Sox did get their first win 3 or 4 days ago. I forget which it was. And the Twins at 3-3. Next, we have the AL West. Texas Rangers leading the division at 5-2. Then you've got the Angels, Mariners, again, the Astros, who lost 3 in a row after leading the Yankees, are 2-6. And the Oakland Athletics, no surprise here, 1-7. Also, the Athletics,
to be Sacramento Athletics.
That's correct. Yes. So for those of you who haven't heard, starting next season, the Athletics will no longer be playing at the Coliseum. They will be playing in their AAA stadium in Sacramento
for 3 years at least, from 2025 through 2027.
Yeah, crazy. They are a negative 30 run differential, complete opposite of the Guardians.
Yeah, the Guardians are going to need that offense to continue. I don't think it will, but the loss of Bieber, I think. It's still anybody's division, really, to be honest. I'm not.
Yeah, it's still early, right?
Yeah, that there's any real, standout team, although that really does hurt their chances.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on to the NL. We'll go from the West to the East. So in the NL West, you have huge surprise here. Dodgers leading the way at 7-3, Diamondbacks at 4-4, Padres at 4-6, the Giants at 3-5, and the Rockies rounding out that division at 2-6. Plus 20 on the run differential for the Diamondbacks. Very nice.
Yeah, they're scoring a lot.
And their pitching's keeping them in the game. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Merrill Kelly. We talked about Zach Gallen. Like, we know it. Like, it's not a bad team there in Arizona. They just went to a World Series, Got to keep those things in mind. But yeah, the Dodgers, obviously the cream of the crop in that division at 7-3. Then you move up to the Central. The Rhys Hoskins-led Milwaukee Brewers are at 5-1. Pirates came out of the gate winning 6 in a row, are now sitting at 6-2. Chicago Cubs 5-2. Reds and Cardinals 4-3 and 4-4. Overall, the whole division is at least even or positive in the run differential. Ryan, you were talking about this before the show. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, not so much the whole division, but I mean the Brewers are getting some really good pitching. I mean, if you look at the runs scored category there, they have the lowest amount of runs scored in the division, substantially nonetheless. So the offense in Milwaukee looking, fairly anemic at times. However, the pitching, I mean, even with the loss of Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, they're looking good. They're continuing to win baseball games, and that's really all that matters in this league. Looks like you've got 4 one-run wins. So, I mean, winning those close ball games, it's a way to do it.
Yeah. Ken Brandt says the Pirates surprised to him. I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, the Pirates they had a really good record going into the All-Star break, but they were a young team, and they kind of faltered, and they fell apart there after the All-Star break. So am I surprised that they came out of the gate 6-0? Yes. However, I'm not super surprised that they're coming out hot and have a winning record to jump the gate here. And then we'll go right into our favorite division here, the NL East. The Braves at 4-2, the Phillies at 3-4, the Mets at 2-5, Nationals at 2-5, and then the only winless team in the bigs right now, the Miami Marlins, 0-8. They dropped a 4-game skid at home to the Pittsburgh Pirates, 3 of which of those games all went to over extra innings.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting series. Actually, that was fun to watch, especially as a neutral fan who didn't particularly care for each team. But the Braves, same thing, kind of with the Cleveland Guardians, right? They've got potentially a big hurdle to climb here with Spencer Strider looking at an MRI on his elbow today. We have not heard the results of that, but generally, when you hear pitchers and MRIs on their elbows, you assume the worst. So I think the Braves need to prep for Spencer Strider's season to be over, which is a big loss for them. Not necessarily in the division race. I feel like they'll still win the division pretty comfortably, but in terms of trying to compete with the Dodgers for the #1 team in the NL,
they just took a hit.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, they just took a huge hit. I no longer. I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. With Spencer Strider out, I don't think they win the division by 10 games anymore. Throwing it out there, I do think it affects their win-loss record, give or take 5 games. I know that sounds weird because, like pitchers, if he comes in and he has 20 wins. But just because he won 20 games doesn't mean the team won't win 15 of those games without him on the hill. So I'm give or taking 5 games here with the loss of Spencer Strider in the win-loss column. But I still don't think they win the division anymore if he's out by 10 games.
I still think they win the division by 8 games or so, especially
I think it's comfortable, yeah.
Especially with how the Phillies have, performed very, very early again in the first 5% of the season, right? A lot of baseball left to be played, but the pitching, particularly in the bullpen, as we talked about in our preseason preview, it's been bad for the Phillies. I mean, terrible. Aaron Nola yesterday and Zach Wheeler's outings are the only two times that I've really been inspired by any pitching for the Phillies.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Actually, the starting pitching in itself hasn't been bad. Turnbull had a pretty good outing the other day too.
Suarez looked really good against the Braves. Suarez got our first win of the season, actually.
Yeah, really, Nola's first start. And was kind of bad. But it's the bullpen, man. We're getting killed in the back end. When the relievers come in, nothing's easy so far. But I assume that they'll figure it out. The other day, they DFA'd Connor Brogdon, which kind of sucks because the way he pitched, and I feel like some of his stuff sometimes reminded me of Ryan Madson. He just could never put it all the way together.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, he had like the lowest ERA in most bullpen pitchers that weren't closers or something like that. Unfortunately, he just, we're a roster that's built to win right now. We don't have time to wait for this guy to figure it out again. We're in a roster that is to win right now.
And so Ryan Kirkring had his first AAA appearance the other day, 1 1/3 innings, struck out all 4 batters he faced. He faced 5 batters. He did hit 1, so he struck out all 4 guys that he got out. But his stuff looks nasty, 96 and 98 miles an hour. If you remember, he had 3 outings in the big leagues as a rookie last year before the playoffs, so a lot of pressure on him pretty early. Didn't have a fantastic playoff, but he is only 23 years old. So
very young, very good reliever, and we're looking forward to seeing him here probably in the next few weeks with the way the bullpen has been performing.
Yep. Speaking of pitching, we are going to circle back to the Shane Bieber incident. The next Tommy John victim. We've got Shane McClanahan have Tommy John. Walker Buehler's coming back from Tommy John. I mean, we've got Spencer Strider potentially having Tommy John. We'll see what the results of the MRI are, but I mean, what do you think? What do you think why do you think there's such a rise in Tommy John surgeries over, we'll say, the last, however many years, 5 years?
I think it's got to be conditioning, right? When you're looking at it, these guys who are throwing 97, 98, 99, they're overthrowing the ball. Like if they can't locate their off-speed stuff, and we saw it with Spencer Strider on opening day, he couldn't locate his off-speed stuff. So he was overthrowing his fastball, 98, 99. And this is just something that hard-throwing pitchers do, right? Like, so if they can't locate their off-speed stuff, they're not conditioned to be throwing every 70 pitches or that are fastballs in a game, and that's what they're doing, and they're ruining their arms. So I think it's A, conditioning, not being ready to throw that many fastballs, and B, just an inability to locate your off-speed stuff. So like if you're only relying on a fastball, this is what's going to happen.
I think it's a combination of things, right? Like conditioning, first and foremost, I think is the biggest factor of it. Guys just don't throw as often or the same quantity of pitches between starts that they used to. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, you'd see guys, throwing 60 to 80 pitch pen sessions between starts. They were throwing almost, if not every day. now that's so rare. You see these 30, 40 pitch pen sessions twice a week, and then these guys are expected to go out and throw 100 pitches every fifth day, and your body's just not conditioned for it. It seems to be the attitude of we need to throw these guys less, more rest. When if you look back, if you look just at like raw data, I mean, if you go back even 20 years ago, I'm not talking 50 years ago, I'm talking if you go back 20 years ago, these guys that were throwing more, you didn't see Tommy John that often. So I just truly believe that a big part of it's conditioning. Another part of it is just the emphasis on velocity in the game. All of a sudden, if you don't throw 95 plus, you suck. Like nobody wants you. And you laugh, but that's really how baseball
you're right.
kind of turned to. And it really stinks because Bieber doesn't even throw that hard. I mean, he's a 92, 93 guy in himself, but you just don't condition the same. And then lastly, I think between last year and this year, you're going to see an even bigger rise in Tommy John surgeries. And this is a minimal factor pitch to pitch, but over the course of the season, it'll add up. The pitch clock, because I feel like more time or less time between pitches, between each pitch, that's going to add up over the course of the season. You don't think much of it, couple seconds, what you would normally do in your routine versus what the pitch clock is forcing you to do between each pitch, but it'll add up when you're pitching, 150, 160, 170 innings. So I think there's a multitude of things as to why Tommy John is now on the rise the last 10 years, but I feel like it's going to climb even more in these next couple of years with the pitch clock.
Yeah, and until science can prove that that's the reason that it's happening, the pitch clock's not going anywhere, right? I mean, honestly, I don't think the pitch clock's going anywhere regardless. But moving through that, I mean, specifically talking about how the league is going towards, like, if you can't throw hard, look at guys like Greg Maddux, for instance. Dude threw an 89-mile-an-hour sinker his entire career, or 89-mile-an-hour cutter his entire career, and he was elite, Hall of Famer, great pitcher. Guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame, Jamie Moyer never threw over 92 miles an hour in his career, pitched for 22 years. So you don't have to be effective with a hard fastball. But it's funny, your statement of, like, if you don't throw 95, 96, you suck. It's just weird that that's how everything transitioned, right? Like you could be an effective pitcher and only throw 89 miles an hour if you know how to locate it.
We talked about it yesterday during Nola's start. Aaron Nola's velocity was down this start versus his previous start.
91.
But throughout his career, Aaron Nola has been a better pitcher when his velocity is down just a tick. He doesn't need to throw 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I can deal with 91, 92 if it's fine in the corner.
Exactly.
It's Roy Halladay. He was more about movement, location, and conditioning, right? He threw 92, 93 regularly, but his stuff had movement. It was in great spots. He was a nasty pitcher. Maddux, you said, these hard throwing righties. I mean, I think you can have velocity if you're conditioned to pitch at that velocity for 100 pitches. I mean, look at Pedro, look at Randy, like those guys threw hard too. But I feel like ultimately in the newer generation with this new, sports science, whatever you want to call it, that there's just such an emphasis on velocity. Meanwhile, we are emphasizing rest, and I don't think that that's a sustainable pace. I think we're well on our way to guys pitching 3 or 4 innings a start, and that's what baseball is going to become.
Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, you already talked about it. You touched on it real quick. Spencer Strider also get an MRI today, and we again talked about it when we were talking about the Braves there for a few seconds. I got to be prepared to lose him because, as you pointed out again, when you hear pitcher going in for an MRI on their throwing arm, it's never usually good.
Yeah, your stomach gets that uneasy setting. So 3 strikes, what is that? This is a game I came up with in the shower because if you're a normal human being, that's where you do your best thinking.
Basically, Ryan saying he was thinking about me in the shower. That's what I took away from this.
Absolutely wasn't. So what we're going to do here is I have a trivia question for Bill. And I'm going to start with an easy one. It's going to be Phillies related. So, but it's tough. It's a tough Phillies question. So
is this like who am I? And I get to ask you 3 questions, or
kind of. So I ask a question, you get it 1 guess. I reveal it. If you get it wrong, I reveal 1 hint. You get 1 guess, and then I reveal a second hint, so on and so forth. You get 3 hints. You get 3 strikes. So after the 3rd hint, if you don't get the name, you're out.
So it's I get a question, and then I get 3 hints.
Yep.
Okay.
So really, you get a foul ball in there. We'll say you fought off the 0-2 pitch. That being said, Question. Who has the Phillies record for most saves in a regular season?
Jose Mesa.
Good job. Told you it'd be easy.
All right, so let's see what the hints are, though. I mean, let's play it out a little bit. Let's say hypothetically, I said Brad Lidge. Go.
Okay, so hypothetically, if you said Brad Lidge, I would have said that this is a right-handed pitcher. Okay, because there was a very good lefty closer for the Phillies for some time.
There was. You're right. Hypothetically, I fire away at Billy Wagner. Go ahead, fire away.
I mean, if you said Billy Wagner, I've ever said that, I think I'd have struck you out there. But
I know, but
the year
hypothetically, I already, for those of you jumping in, I already got the question correct. We're showing you how it would have gone.
Yeah. So hint number 2 would have been the year was 2002. And then hint number 3 would have been the number of saves was 45.
And then the answer is Jose Mesa.
Yep.
Now it's fun. It's very specific that he says regular season because obviously Brad Lidge went 48 for 48 the year they won the World Series, but that included postseason.
Yep. 41 for 41 in the regular season, 7 for 7 in the postseason. And that's why I did specify it that way. And I had to specify individually too, because the team record for saves, this is an interesting stat. So the team Phillies record for saves in a season is 48. So the Jose Mesa stat being 45, there were not 3 other saves on that roster to tie up the team record set in 1987.
That's crazy. That is crazy though. Yeah.
Prediction for the Phillies Nationals game today before we head out.
I have a 6-2 victory in favor of the Phils. Ranger Suarez goes 6 innings of shutout baseball, and then he gets pulled at about 91 pitches.
I'm not going to say it's a shutout. I'm not going to say it's 6 innings of shutout ball. I'm going 10-4. I think the offense shows up today.
Okay. Hey, look, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, Ranger will be good. You said that yesterday, Tim. Didn't happen. Probably not going to happen today. But I wish I could just bet no on players hitting home runs. Like, I just wish I could.
Will he hit a home run? No.
Yeah. I mean, the odds would be like negative 10,000. But nonetheless, I see 10-4. I see, the offense showing up as a whole, not Bryce Harper having to hit 3 home runs to carry the team to 10 runs. So
I like it. Either way, Philly's victory, right? We'll be at the bar, right? When do they start? 4? They start at 4.
Is it that time? Are we in the 9th?
I believe we are.
Roy Halladay just got done pitching 8 strong. I need a righty. Out there, baby. Go ahead. Or hold up.
Thank you for joining us. Oh, sorry,
guys. Pick up the phone, the bullpen phone. Hey, I need him. He's in.
That's going to do it for us here on BSing Sports, part of the BSing Network, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.